Hi and welcome to my kitchen. A question I get asked a lot is, how do I do a good beef roast? And I really like to do beef roast, so I'm going to share with you today my methods for preparing a good beef roast for like a dinner party or a supper party or your family or whatever, what have you. So we're starting here with a pretty standard, inexpensive top round roast that you can get from the grocery store. This is 4 pounds. And it's pretty basic. It's not that expensive. I paid about $4 a pound for this. And I have taken this out of the fridge at least an hour prior to kind of let it come up to room temperature a little bit. And my next step is going to be to season this thing. Now, the standard thing to do is to rub that thing with salt and pepper. My family doesn't like pepper, so I'm not going to put pepper on here. I'm just going to rub it with some good coarse sea salt, and that is step one. Okay, so I have some coarse sea salt here, and I'm basically just going to sprinkle this on here and, rub it in and make sure that we have a good coating on the meat. Just rub that into all the surfaces, even on the sides here. And we'll also, pick it up and we'll go underneath it as well. Turn it over. Rub that salt in. Okay, excellent. So the next step is to take this roast and sear it. So the first thing that we're going to do before we sear this is we're going to set the oven temperature up to 400 degrees. I know that sounds like a lot, but the reason for that is that we are going to put this thing into the oven after we've seared it, and we're going to let it go for just 5 minutes, then we're going to turn the oven temperature way down. But to start with, set your oven temperature now at 400, and then get yourself a good heavy cast iron pan or a pan with a really heavy base, and turn the heat on to high and heat that thing up to smoking, because we are going to absolutely sear the daylights out of this roast. Alright, it's just beginning to smoke. I'm going to put this roast in sort of fat side down. I'm not going to add any oil. I'm just going to put this thing right in. There we go. We're going to sear this thing on all sides. We want it to have sort of a nice brown look. It'll take a couple of minutes each side. You have to turn the fan on, to kind of get those fumes out of there. And just a word of warning, I always take the smoke detector out of the kitchen before I do this kind of stuff because it always goes off. Just a word here, I've had to add a little bit of vegetable oil to this pan just to get it to brown properly. I thought I could get away with the fat that was on the meat, but no go. So, it's just going well. Everything's looking pretty good here as we brown. Don't forget to do this side and this side. So we'll keep browning here, but things are looking good. If it won't stand up on one of its ends on its own, just hold it like this. And just hold it there for a couple minutes while it sears. And our oven is up to temp, which is great. So next step will be to put this thing into a roasting pan and get a meat thermometer into it. Feel free to add a little bit of water to this pan and deglaze it. And I'm just going to add this water to the roasting pan with the meat. Okay, so I'm going to put the meat thermometer halfway in here. I usually just sort of try to line of sight it like that and say, okay, that's about the middle, and push it right in. And I cannot do without these digital meat thermometers. So let's see what it's at right now. Alright, can you see that okay? 52 degrees is what that says that is. So we're going to put this into the oven and cook it for just about 5 minutes, and then we're going to turn the heat down. Alright, into the oven it goes. I've added the water from that deglazing of the pan to this roasting pan. Slide it on in there. Put the digital temp probe on the outside. 5-minute timer, and then we turn the oven down to 200 degrees. Whoa. 200 degrees. Then we're going to roast it for between 20 and 30 minutes per pound. So probably in about 2 hours this roast is going to be done. So in reality, it actually took a lot longer than that, and a little bit later in the video, I will explain. Okay, so a little bit about the method here. The reason that we put that roast into the oven at such a high temp is to give it that little additional shock and caramelization on the outside of the roast that you really want, just in case you missed a few spots when you seared it. And then you turn it down to 200 degrees because what you want to happen is you want that roast to cook very, very slowly, and the low temperature allows that roast to achieve the right temperature all the way around the inside, so that when you slice into it, it's not like just pink in the center and really, really gray on the outsides. It's like almost perfectly pink and rosy almost all the way around that roast. So that is the reason. That's the reason for the method of this high temp, then extremely low temp. It does take longer, but the result is fantastic. Okay, a little bit of an update here. After 2 hours, we're only at about 115, and so I have increased my oven temperature by 50 degrees just because I'm on a little bit of a schedule here. But if we had continued, we would, looks like, I don't know, maybe another half hour or so would get us up to, 135 or something like that. You want to be, it's going to continue to cook after you take it out of the oven. It's going to go up almost 10 more degrees after you take it out of the oven. So I'm going to try to cook it to 135 in the oven, take it out, maybe get it to 145. That'll be a nice little pink, rosy, medium. It'll be great. All right, the roast is finally done. It took about 3 hours. And we're now up to 133 degrees. I usually take it out between 133 135 because this roast is going to continue to cook. It's going to continue to rise in temperature as much as 10 degrees, between 8 and 10 degrees. So I want to serve this thing right around 145-ish, something like that. So I'm taking this out now. We're going to let this sit. You can also sort of loosely tent it with foil. Not too much, but just kind of a light covering. Basically, we're just going to let this sit. You have to let this sit. If you don't let this sit, and you cut into this right now and serve it, all of the lovely juices that are inside are just going to run out and all of the color will be gone. We want that nice, beautiful color throughout, so we're going to leave it just like this. We're going to let it sit for 15 minutes, maybe 20, and then we're going to carve it and serve it. It's our wonderful beef roast. All right, the roast is done. The rest period is over, and I'm now cutting into this thing, and it has come out exactly the way I want it. Nice and red, all the way up through. It's a little gray up here, up on the top, but this beautiful color throughout is exactly what I was looking for. And you can just see the beautiful juices running out as I carve this thing. So I'm going to carve this into serving pieces, about, I don't know, half of an inch or a little bit less. And I'm going to put it on the serving platter and serve it up. There you have it. Beautiful beef roast.